testing of the nerves.
I can imagine that was a trying time, and
Definitely. So,
very.
but my counselor was very nice, and she helped me with a little bit of time that I was available in the area. She definitely was mine to go to.
Okay, awesome. Have you had any hospitalizations?
No.
Okay. Are you currently on any medication? Okay.
But I am interested.
When you say you're interested in,
Maybe, I don't know. I'm thinking I might need assistance in that way, maybe, if I can't cope alone.
are you referring to the anxiety?
Yes,
Oh,
or a little
okay.
worrying and that feeling.
Okay. I was just trying to clarify and see if there was another medical issue that you felt like you may need medication for.
No, none that I am aware of anyway.
Okay. Any health problems?
Just a little cold that's going on today.
Okay. And do you have a family physician?
Yes, but I'm not sure the name, but I do know it's back in the little town that I'm from.
Okay.
Clinton.
Okay. You mentioned your sister's development. Any developmental history that you'd like to share?
About myself?
About yourself.
No.
Okay.
As far as I can tell, what my doctors tell me, I'm pretty healthy.
Okay. And do you have any substance abuse?
No.
Okay. All right. I know that was a lot of questions. Just want to learn a little bit more about you. So in our intake interview, you mentioned the anxiety. And so I have an assessment here called the Generalized Anxiety Disorder 7. So it's only 7 questions. And it just looks at, kind of rates the level of anxiety you're experiencing right now.
Okay.
And so if you don't mind, we can go and I'll ask you these 7 questions just so I get a better idea of the level of anxiety that you have. Okay. Are you comfortable taking this assessment?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's get to it.
All right. Just a word about the scores, and so after we get done with the 7 questions, I'll explain what it means, and these are these are confidential, and they will be housed in the locked file cabinet over there. Okay. All right. So over the last 2 weeks, how often have you been bothered by the following problems? Have you been feeling nervous, anxious, or on the edge? And
Yes.
the rankings are not at all, several days, more than half the days, or nearly every day.
Yeah, I'd say more than half the days I'm a little on edge.
Okay. Switch this out. Over the last 2 weeks, how often have you not been able to stop or control your worrying? Not at all, several days, more than half the days, or nearly every day.
I'd say several.
Okay. Over the last 2 weeks, how often have you been bothered by worrying too much about different things?
Probably every day. I'm just such a worrier.
Okay. Over the last 2 weeks, how often have you had trouble relaxing?
Several days.
Over the last 2 weeks, how often have you been so restless that it is hard to sit still?
More than half the days.
Okay.
Yeah.
over the last 2 weeks, how often have you become easily annoyed or irritable?
More than half the days.
Okay. Okay. And over the last 2 weeks, how often have you felt afraid as if something awful might happen?
Yeah. More than half the days.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So the way this is scored is that we score the columns. In the not at all column, you didn't have any responses there. So I'm going to score that as 0.
Okay.
Several days, you had 2. More than half the days, you had 2, 4, 6, and 8. And nearly every day you had 1 response in that column. And that was in 3. So your total score for this assessment would be a 13. Okay. So have you checked any problems? How difficult have they made it for you to do your work, take care of things at home, or get along with other people? And the categories here are not difficult at all, somewhat difficult, very difficult, or extremely difficult.
I could say very difficult.
Okay. So, looking at your score on this general anxiety scale, you scored a 13. So that indicates a moderate level of anxiety. And so, being that that is the result, I think it's fair to say that, there is a level of anxiety that you're experiencing that would be helpful to address and find different ways of coping with some of the stressors that you have going on in your life. Okay. So do you think it's fair? I'm sorry, you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. It's just a lot. I'm good. It's like more than anything, I'm just glad it's over. You know what I mean? Like,
Okay.
I had some anxiety about this test.
Oh, I'm sorry that caused more anxiety for you.
Yeah.
But through our counseling relationship, we'll work on some of the your feelings about the anxiety and different skills for you. Okay. So just want to wrap up and let you know that it was nice to learn a little bit more about you. We'll work on when you come to the next session, if you so choose. We'll talk about different strategies and things that we can do to alleviate some of your anxiety. Okay. Do you have any questions of me?
No. Just excited to come back and see you more.
Okay. Thank you so much for participating.
Thank you.
All right.